South Africa, a nation celebrated for its rich cultural diversity and breathtaking landscapes, is currently grappling with a series of profound challenges that have ignited widespread concern among its citizens and the international community. Foremost among these issues is the persistent and debilitating energy crisis, commonly referred to as load shedding. This crisis has not only disrupted daily life, but has also cast a shadow over the country's economic stability and growth prospects.
Eskom implementing Stage 6 rolling blackouts nationwide. The power utility says the escalation of rolling blackouts will continue until further notice. This follows multiple unit trips at the Camden power station in Mpumalanga.
Load shedding, a term that has become all too familiar to South Africans, involves the deliberate and systematic interruption of electricity supply to different areas on a rotational basis. This measure is implemented by Eskom, the nation's primary power utility, as a last resort to prevent the total collapse of the power grid when electricity demand outstrips supply. The roots of this crisis are multifaceted, encompassing aging infrastructure, inadequate maintenance, financial mismanagement, and a historical over-reliance on coal-fired power plants. In recent developments, the situation has escalated to unprecedented levels. On February 23, 2025, Eskom announced the implementation of Stage 6 load shedding, the most severe level to date. This decision was precipitated by the unexpected failure of multiple generation units at key power stations, including Majuba and Camden. The sudden loss of these units significantly reduced the available generating capacity, compelling Eskom to intensify load shedding measures to stabilize the grid.
Ramaphosa has ruled out sabotage following multiple unit trips at the power stations.
What about the generation recovery plan? I did say that we are placing front center, if you like, the investments on the installed fleet, making sure that we have these machines reliable. We know that as part of that, we had to up our maintenance. So we had to go to levels of maintenance that have not been recorded in the recent past history. And as I stand before you, in terms of that generation recovery plan, our planned maintenance is sitting at 7,500. 7,500, significantly higher than the period, the same period last year. And we have accepted that there are inherent risks in this decision that we are taking. A lot of you will ask, but why do you go aggressive? Why are you not a bit measured, conservative in your planned maintenance? We understand the following. We can be a bit conservative, but we are going to place a number of units at risk. And when they fail, I think the failure might be catastrophic and requiring us to take even significantly greater decisions for us to be able to protect the grid. So we said that over this financial year, that the generation recovery plan, the levels of maintenance, the aggression, calculated aggression, I must say, indicate is not reckless. We must still maintain it. And we have accepted that there are inherent risks when you go this route. What are the inherent risks of going this route is that first, if there are outliers in relation to major units failing at the same time, then you'll have to initiate load shedding because you have undermined your ability to have sufficient headroom to be able to absorb the kind of cluster of units failing.
In a public statement, Eskom CEO Dan Marokane conveyed the gravity of the situation, noting that of the 10 units that had failed, 6 had been restored to service, adding approximately 3,200 megawatts back to the grid. He also expressed optimism that additional units would become operational in the coming days, which could potentially alleviate the severity of the power cuts. The ramifications of Stage 6 load shedding are extensive and deeply felt across all sectors of society. Residential areas experience prolonged power outages, disrupting daily routines and affecting quality of life. Businesses, particularly small and medium-sized enterprises, face operational challenges that lead to financial losses and, in some cases, closures. The industrial sector, a cornerstone of South Africa's economy, encounters production halts that undermine profitability and competitiveness. Moreover, essential services such as healthcare and education are not immune. Hospitals struggle to maintain critical operations, and schools are forced to suspend classes, impacting learning outcomes. In response to the escalating crisis, Minister of Electricity, Kagosiencho Ramagopa, issued a public apology acknowledging the severe impact of the intensified load shedding on the populace. He emphasized the government's commitment to resolving the energy crisis and outlined immediate measures being undertaken to address the situation. These measures include accelerating maintenance schedules, expediting the integration of renewable energy sources into the grid, and exploring partnerships with private sector entities to enhance generation capacity.
The Electricity and Energy Minister, Ramaphosa, is confident will be out of the woods by the end of the week. He was speaking during a media briefing earlier on after the power utility implemented Stage 6 power cuts.
We are confident we are going to go to conditions of normality. What are those conditions of normality by the end of the week? Is that there will not be load shedding. We would have gone through this wave, and of course we go to what? We want the country to get accustomed to being normal, and in fact something called load shedding should be considered extremely abnormal, and that's why we're taking these extraordinary measures to share with you. So then, long and short of it, there is no sabotage on the basis of what is before us. We are able to explain what went wrong, and in fact it's something that we are addressing.
Minister Ramagopa also highlighted the importance of transparent communication with the public regarding load-shedding schedules and ongoing efforts to mitigate the crisis. The energy crisis, however, is not an isolated issue, but rather a symptom of broader systemic challenges facing South Africa. In his State of the Nation address delivered on February 6, 2025, President Cyril Ramaphosa provided a candid assessment of the nation's current state and outlined a strategic vision for the future. The address, themed "A Nation That Works for All," underscored the government's dedication to fostering inclusivity and shared prosperity. Central to President Ramaphosa's address was the acknowledgement of the energy crisis as a critical impediment to economic growth and social development. He reaffirmed the government's commitment to implementing the Energy Action Plan, which aims to diversify energy sources, reduce dependence on coal, and promote sustainability. The plan includes investments in renewable energy projects, modernization of the existing power infrastructure, and reforms within Eskom to enhance efficiency and accountability. The president also called for collaborative efforts between the public and private sectors to expedite the resolution of the energy challenges. Beyond the energy sector, President Ramaphosa addressed several other pressing issues confronting the nation. He highlighted the persistent challenges of unemployment, poverty, and inequality, which have been exacerbated by the economic disruptions caused by the COVID-19 pandemic and the ongoing energy crisis. To combat these issues, the government has proposed a multifaceted approach that includes economic stimulus initiatives, introducing programs designed to revitalize key industries, support entrepreneurship, and attract foreign investment, job creation strategies, implementing public works projects, providing incentives for businesses to hire locally, and enhancing vocational training programs to equip the workforce with relevant skills. Social welfare enhancements, expanding social safety nets to support vulnerable populations, including increased access to healthcare, education, and housing. The president also addressed concerns related to crime and corruption, acknowledging their detrimental impact on societal trust and economic development. He outlined measures to strengthen law enforcement agencies, enhance judicial processes, and promote a culture of transparency and accountability within both the public and private sectors. These measures are intended to restore public confidence and create an environment conducive to investment and growth. In the realm of land reform, President Ramaphosa reaffirmed the government's commitment to equitable land distribution as a means to redress historical injustices and stimulate economic development. He emphasized that land reform would be conducted within the framework of the law, ensuring that it contributes to social cohesion and food security. This approach aims to balance the need for redress with the imperative of maintaining economic stability and investor confidence. The international dimension of South Africa's challenges was also evident in recent geopolitical developments. Notably, the United States, under President Trump's administration, issued an executive order to freeze aid to South Africa and grant refugee status to white Afrikaners. This action was a response to South Africa's 2024 land reform bill, which seeks to expropriate land predominantly owned by the white minority for public use under specific conditions without compensation. South Africa stands at a critical juncture, confronting a confluence of challenges that test the nation's resilience and unity. The energy crisis, marked by persistent load shedding, underscores the urgent need for infrastructural investment and diversification of energy sources. Economic and social policies, particularly land reform initiatives, aim to address historical injustices but require careful implementation to balance equity with stability. International relations are evolving, with shifts in alliances and aid dynamics prompting South Africa to explore new partnerships. Domestically, the government faces the task of addressing public grievances, fostering inclusive growth, and ensuring that reforms translate into tangible improvements in the lives of all citizens. The path forward demands collaborative efforts from the government, private sector, civil society, and the international community. By embracing transparency, innovation, and inclusivity, South Africa can navigate these challenges and work towards a more equitable and prosperous future.